Welcome back to the Chevy American Revolution 400 on FX. Brian Vickers, the pole sitter, leads. And Jeff Green, whose Cheerios Dodge had a great third place qualifying effort, has settled into second. We listened in on Brian Vickers, the race leader.
Get something to drink, take some deep breaths here. Remember, you start the race. You start the race. Done a great job all weekend, done a great job all year. You are the man.
I like that. Pump that kid up. No, it won't take a lot, but no.
Here's Steve.
Mike, Robbie Gordon has been on pit road once, and he's coming back again. They have a fender brace they're trying to cut off. They're afraid the fender will cut down on the tire. Robbie Gordon said just before he came down pit road, I have no idea what happened to that tire. It just went. So again, they're going to have to come back down pit road and get that fender brace cut away.
And you know, Steve, these guys, they start the air pressure in these tires so low, especially on the left sides. I think sometime when they're going back and forth and scrubbing the tires in, they almost roll the thing off the rim.
Now, after he replaced the tire and went back out, you see that piece that's dragging just in front of the left rear tire.
Looks like part of maybe the valence extension. I think it's going to probably come loose here. And he runs over it again.
Cut tire number 2.
Hopefully they're watching the broadcast on FX and saw that. There you see the fender brace right there that they were trying to get off.
Dick Bergman.
And Ryan Newman hit something on the racetrack as well. As soon as the caution flag came out, he keyed his radio and told that story to his crew chief, Matt Borland, who decided leave him out on the racetrack. They're hoping all is well with number 12 currently running in third spot.
Behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 4th, right where he started. Jimmy Johnson 5th, Rusty Wallace, Jeremy Mayfield, Casey Mears, and Jeff Gordon, Joe Nemechek, and Ward Burton.
And Robbie will get the free pass.
Will he, Darrell, since he was the car that brought out the caution?
Well, I don't know if he will or not, but he thinks he is anyway.
He's coming up through here like he is.
And yes, he does.
So he's back on the lead lap now. Boy, what a break that caution was. You know, Mike, you were talking about Jeff Green, though, as we ride with Michael Waltrip here. Qualified third. Those guys had quite a scare last night. These teams, most of them changed valve springs on the engines after practice, and one of the keepers got dropped down in the engine. They finally found it. If they had not have found it, they would have had to change that engine and went to the rear of the field.
And that part, isn't that a part smaller than your fingernail?
Yes, about the size of your little fingernail. But very scary moment.
But it's hard as a rock.
And we have a clarification. Robbie Gordon did not bring out the caution per se. Debris on the racetrack caused the caution. When that happens, they don't attribute it to a particular car. It's just considered a debris caution, so he does get the free pass.
And let me tell you the irony of all that. He qualified 6th. One of the big concerns he had about going to Indy and qualifying today was to get back here in time for the drivers' meeting so he wouldn't have to start last. Where is he now?
Last. Dick Bergman.
Well, they may have found the keeper from Jeff Green's engine, Mike, but they haven't found the handle on the race car. He has been on the radio and said in those first few laps that the car is sliding around at both ends.
And I think that's where that crew chief has to talk to that driver and say, look, the racetrack, you know, yeah, we ran the Busch race last night, but the track still is a little bit green and slick because it's sat here all day long and the oil's drawn up out of the racetrack. I think that's where you have to tell him, just give it a few laps. It'll come to you.
Jerry Nadeau looking on, injured here 1 year ago, continuing his recuperation and hopeful to return to Nextel Cup Racing. Chris Myers did a nice interview with Jerry in the pre-race. A lot of folks here happy to see him here and looking on. We're back under green as speeds build into turn 1.
This is on a restart over 130 miles per hour. You talk about Robbie Gordon. O'Brien Vickers took the green flag at the start-finish line. He was over a half a lap down on the backstretch with a single-file restart. See right there, about 95 miles per hour in the middle of 3 and 4 off the throttle.
Here comes Newman to the inside.
Bringing Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car, our points leader with him. Right now, we saw this in the Busch race last night. They have Jeff Green in the 43 kicked to the high side, and they're freight training him right now, or trying to.
And Darrell, Newman's pass on green, textbook move for this racetrack.
Oh yeah, get that nose underneath the guy, force him up a little bit, and of course you can go right by when that happens because there's just not enough room for him to race you down in the corner. There's enough room, there's not enough groove to race a guy down in the corner. That may improve before the night go with. I hope so. But Larry, I'm driving that 43 car, and if it doesn't come to me pretty soon, I'm going to be in trouble.
We're going to be looking for a caution.
Jeremy Mayfield underneath green, moving the number 19 Dodge up into 5th place. Just ahead of them, the Lowe's Chevy of Jimmy Johnson. Here's Matt.
Jimmy's climbed up 1 spot to 4th, while his teammate, the leader, Brian Vickers, says his car is excellent. Jimmy says the car's a little free. He's broken it down into corners. A little free in turn 1, decent in 2, really good in turn 3, but he can't get in the throttle when he wants to off turn 4. He says just a little too free. And the good news, he hasn't mentioned anything about the brakes. That means the brakes are good.
But Matt, I think a little free based on the Busch race last night. I don't think that's bad, because last night as that race progressed, the cars just tightened up, got tighter and tighter as the race went on.
Nemechek, one of those drivers Darrell thinks worthy of watching with the time he spent behind the wheel last night in the Busch race. The only nighttime action this new asphalt has seen. Will that be an advantage?
Well, it's got to be, Mike, because these guys that didn't run last night, this is a whole different racetrack than they saw yesterday afternoon. 250 more laps last night on this track. Definitely, we widened it out a little bit, widened the groove out a little bit, and changed the grip as well.
Ryan Newman just ahead of Dale Jr. in 2nd place. Dick?
He certainly is having his problems tonight, Mike. He just got on the radio and said he's going to need a lot of help tonight. His rear view mirror just broke. I hope that's not bad luck, by the way.
Well, Dick, with all the years he spent in midgets and sprints where mirrors are of little use if you have them at all, shouldn't be a problem, should it?
Well, it wouldn't be if you didn't have headrest and Hans devices and so many things now that, that maybe you wouldn't have 5 or 6 years ago or in a sprint car.
We've been watching Casey Mears in the 41 car. He has the same problem Jeff Green had a while ago. He's caught that 2nd groove, and about the last lap and a half, about 5 cars has went by him. There you see Michael Waltrip in the 15 going by him. That kicks him all the way about to 14th.
Scott Wimmer right behind, and there's Mears alongside Michael Waltrip. Leader up on the left of your screen so we don't lose track of the lead battle.
And it's become a battle here. Absolutely.
Junior coming, and now just 2 car lengths away from the lead, Matt.
Working on Ryan Newman. He's got about a 2nd advantage over 4th place Jeremy Mayfield, trying for his 2nd Richmond win. And Larry Mack talking to Tony Eury Jr. like a lot of crew chiefs and car chiefs on my end of pit road. Everyone a little on the free side, and Larry Mack, like you mentioned, that's what everybody wants at the start of this race. He's already taken over 2nd. Now sets his sights on leader Brian Vickers.
Now, I mean, all these guys that are complaining about being free, like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson, I'm going to continue to monitor, ask him, is it staying free? But I think that's going to be good right now. It'll be better later.
Jeremy Mayfield in the tire tracks of Jimmy Johnson. Solid top 5 right now. Now, his teammate, Casey Kane, crashed on the first lap of qualifying last night, had to start this race last, and he's already passed 12 cars. He is up to 31st. Remember, brand new asphalt, new track surface here in qualifying, and Casey Kane tore one up right at the start finish line. Because final practice came pretty much right on the heels of qualifying, they had no opportunity to fix the primary car and had to go to a backup, but he was quick in happy hour last evening.
Yeah, and if you get up out of the groove much at all off of turn 4, there's just no grip there. It's a little sandy from the new asphalt, and the back end will come around.
Robbie Gordon's coming.
Yeah,
he's up to 36th now from 43rd at the restart.
Yeah, but what they have to do with Robbie is they have to keep monitoring where he's at in relationship to the leader, because right now he is about 2/3 of a lap behind our leader, Brian Vickers. So he's got to be patiently aggressive right now.
26 laps complete. Here is our leader, the defending Busch Series champion, Brian Vickers, out front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Ryan Newman.